China's pursuit of great power status is drawing it to the frozen reaches of the world's polar regions. According to a new satellite imagery collected by a Washington-based think tank, China is increasing its Antarctic footprint. This is Beijing's fifth station in the southern polar region. China has undertaken ambitious expeditions and developed world-class research facilities. It has now sought to develop new shipping routes in the Arctic and expand its research in Antarctica. The Western governments now worry that Beijing's increasing presence in the polar regions could provide the People's Liberation Army with better surveillance capabilities. Now, according to a report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the new station is on the inexpressible island to the south near the Ross Sea. It is expected to include an observatory with a satellite ground station, which will help China fill a major gap in its ability to access the continent. Let's take a look at how the map looks like. There you go. So this is where the new station will be created at the south of the Antarctica. That's where the new station will be, constructed by China. This they're saying, or this is how the new station looks like. Let me just explain to you how the new station looks like. It has a helipad. It has a future wharf. This is where the ships will be docking and will be, putting their lines there. It has a future logistics and warehouse area. It has a future energy generation and storage area. It has a future research observatory and also satellite antennas area, and the foundations for main building being poured. And also, I forgot to mention, a helipad. Now, the report further outlined on how, despite providing communications for China's growing array of scientific polar observation satellites, the station will also provide equipment that can concurrently be used for intercepting other nations' satellite communication. Now, the American think tank used satellite images taken in January to identify new support facilities, temporary buildings, a helicopter pad, and foundations for a larger main building at the 5,000 square meter station. The station is well positioned to collect signal intelligence over Australia and New Zealand. It is estimated that the construction of the station could be completed by the year 2024. Professor James D.J. Brown is an international affairs expert and a political analyst. He is joining us from Tokyo, Japan. Professor, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, let me just start by asking you, is this proof of China's expansionism with the construction of this base in Antarctica?
I think it's premature to say it's proof, but it's certainly something which raises further concerns. If, as the Chinese claim, that it's purely about scientific research, well, then that would be fine. After all, other countries, including the United States and European countries, conduct research there. But the major concern is that, will that really be the case with China as a one-party state, as a country with no clear divide between civilian and military institutions? The worry is that these facilities will actually just be cover for activities of the People's Liberation Army.
Professor, this building of this base has sparked surveillance fears in the West. Should the West be worried?
Well, I think the worry is that China has a record of not actually keeping to its word. I think what comes foremost to mind here is guarantees that were given by President Xi Jinping that China would not militarize the South China Sea, would not put military capabilities on the islands that it's building there. And it clearly went against that. So the worry is the same would happen here, that China would insist that it's purely about scientific research, but ultimately that could be just a pretext for facilities that help with surveillance and also military activities.
Now, the artificial base is armed to the teeth. This is according to researchers and also observation that has been made so far, with deadly hardware including missile aircraft, flight hangars, spy planes. What is China trying to prove with this?
Well, the main point is that China now sees itself not as a regional actor. It sees itself as truly a global power with interests in all regions. And so for that reason, it feels that to uphold its influence and its economic power, its military, its security services need to have reach that goes well beyond China's shores and even extends into polar regions.
Finally, Professor, Beijing has plans to have the world's most powerful military. Is the world ready for China's world domination, you think?
Well, I think not. I think that if we look at opinion poll data about China over the last few years, we can see that it's turned significantly more negative. Now, yes, China's rise, China's economic investment has been welcomed in many parts of the world, but in many others, there's growing concern and growing negative attitudes towards the Chinese Communist Party.
All right, I've been talking to Professor James D.J. Brown. He's an international affairs expert and also a political analyst. Professor, thank you very much for making time for us and for talking to WION World is One.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.